So we created Spirited as a response to very low, or what we perceive to be very low consumer confidence in the whiskey cask trading and investment marketplace. Our goal is to bring transparency, reliability, and consumer confidence back up. Make the experience of owning whiskey casks fun and help people to learn about it. That's actually the ed in Spirited, is Spirit Ed education. So help clients and prospective clients protect themselves and enjoy the journey, and also maximize their investment returns through the power of knowledge.
So Spirited, we have cumulatively about 20 years of experience within spirits. Several of those years have actually been within cask sales. In addition to that, we actually pride ourselves on being extremely good educators. Why we think that's actually very important is because education is key to making sure that this industry is actually well protected. Consumers know exactly what they're getting themselves into when it comes to cask investments. Over the top of all of that, we actually consider everyone to be very passionate about Scotch whisky. As an example, one of the first things that we had to do as a business was we actually had to fly to Scotland and to build the foundation and the partnerships with all of the right players within the market and do a crash course in all things whiskey cask investing. That includes going out to warehouses, going out to distilleries, meeting bottlers as well as vendors to do our own due diligence to ensure that we can bring Scotland a little bit closer to Hong Kong.
So at heart, within Spirited, we are whiskey educators. What that does is we help anyone who we interact with to learn how to protect themselves, how to maximize their experience in the whiskey market, but it also allows them to hold us to a very high standard of excellence. We take due diligence very seriously. We help our clients perform due diligence even on us. And we're very selective about who we work with. Within the whiskey market, everyone has to rely on several people. And we are very selective about our partnerships, whether that means for warehousing, whether that means for importing and exporting, and all other forms of certification and of fulfillment for various projects, and literally anything that someone might want to get out of a cask or in order to experience their cask to the fullest.
Yeah, that's a great question. As a brokerage within the space, we spend a lot of time making sure that we have airtight operations. This comes all the way from our due diligence with all of our vendors to all of the storage warehouses, so that we can actually pass on all of these benefits to our clients. As a result of that, we've been able to confidently offer out a cask guarantee, which is what Dan was just mentioning there. Cask guarantee, we believe, is an exceptional legal protection for a lot of our buyers that we have yet to see within other competitors within this space. With some of our sourcing and from vendors, we actually get access to extremely well-priced new make whiskey casks, as well as access to old, fine, very rare whiskey casks that we aren't able to source from anywhere else in the market. And lastly, we provide an exceptional level of paperwork. So what we try to do within a market which is so far away from Hong Kong is we like to provide the paper trail so that clients can actually see where the casks have come from and that they actually are available, and we hand everything over to a third party. So what that means is don't necessarily trust Spirited, but know that you can trust these third parties who are impartial to Spirited. I know I said that was the last one, but there is a final one, which is our, what was the last one? One of the other benefits with some of our vendors is we've actually negotiated on behalf of a lot of our clients to not only open up their own private accounts at the warehouses so they stay protected, but we also negotiate exceptional insurance and storage rates. So that if they do come through us, they do get a cheaper rate of storage and comprehensive insurance, which aren't necessarily out there with many of the other vendors that are brokering casks.
So the most important thing when anyone is buying a cask of whiskey is for the buyer to know what they're looking for, what are their desired outcomes, and also for us to help them make that determination. So the first step is actually the consultation. We'll work with the client or the prospective client to really solidify what it is that they're looking for. Not everyone comes to us knowing what they're already knowing what they're looking for. I'll circle back to education again, educating the individual on how to evaluate the value of their cask, the investment, the potential investment returns, and all of the auxiliary options that come with owning a cask. What kind of experiences can they get? Anyone who interacts with us will learn all of this before there's any sort of deals on the table or before any money is exchanged. Once we identify the right product for you, we then facilitate the transaction and the transfer of the ownership into your name. And then essentially making sure that all of the paperwork and everything is airtight and all roads lead to you and your cask, so you can go visit it. You can go experience what you actually own. You can import bottles into, say, Hong Kong. And you can exercise all of these auxiliary options we've already talked about. So it's information at the front end. Once you've purchased a cask, that's when our work really starts. We're a service provider. We're not salespeople, so to speak.
Yeah, so we like to keep things relatively simple at Spirited. We have 0 restrictions on resale. So as a part of our process, for anyone that buys a cask, we give them all of the paperwork so that should they want to resell through another brokerage, they can do that. They're not restricted to sell through Spirited. Outside of that, of course, we like to encourage them to keep the cask within Spirited. We have a few avenues for people to exit. So because of our partnerships with our vendors within Scotland, we have bottling options. We're tapped into quite a pervasive network of other cask brokerages, which means that not only are we accessing networks within our own Spirited network, we are also accessing networks from other brokerages and reputable cask traders over in Scotland and globally. We are also deploying a third project which will actually help exit out particularly fine, old and rare bottles. That will help with distribution around the world. So amongst all of those particular options, we also have an auction house. So we're tapped into reputable auction houses that not only trade in bottles, but as well as casks over in the UK. So we try to provide as many avenues for people as possible to liquidate their casks. And should they wish that at the end of the term that they want to just bottle 300 bottles, we can also help them do that as well.